Well, welcome to another episode of the Business's Mission Podcast. I am here with a new and special friend, Ameet Gabrial, and he's got a great story. So I'm going to let him tell it. He is now the CEO of ZOR Engineers, which is one of the oldest BAM companies that we know of. There may be some older, but this is certainly one of the oldest. It was founded in 1968. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And he's also going to share his journey because he's the fourth CEO. And so God's path for you, brother, has been quite amazing. We met a couple of weeks ago and he shared his heart. So first of all, welcome to the show. Great to have you on with us and our guest.
Well, thank you, Mike. I really feel privileged, and it's an honor to be with you and to share about ZOR Engineers and about myself. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Fantastic. Me too. So Amit, tell us just to begin with, just a little bit about ZOR, how it was started, why it was started, and a little history. Obviously, that would be a whole podcast if we went in depth, but this is a quite interesting to a lot of people, certainly to me. So tell us a bit about ZOR and then how you got there.
Well, before I get into sharing about ZOR, I have with me just to show you a glimpse of the book that was written by ZOR's founder. Where am I from?
Ah, wow. Okay, I hope everybody can see this. Where am I from?
This book has been written by Daniel Allen Babington, who is the founder of ZOR, and he was led by God to Pakistan to start a construction company that was meant to glorify God's name through the construction work, through buildings and designs. So the story of ZOR began basically when Dan decided to be in Pakistan. So he was from a missionary family, and he had been to India before. He was basically raised up, and his early education was in India. Then he visited Pakistan, and then back to the UK. He did his civil engineering, and then God gave him a chance to be in Pakistan for the construction of the first ever Christian hospital in Pakistan. So he ended up in Pakistan somewhere around 1961 to 65. That was the time slot when this hospital was constructed. So this hospital is known as the United Christian Hospital, and this was basically funded by the missionaries from the US and UK. And so Dan came in to help with this project in particular. And during that time, God started to lead Dan into what we call today the business as mission space. So basically, Dan and Dennis were the two co-founders, you could say, of ZOR. So ZOR in Urdu language, it's an Urdu language word, which means strength or power. So that's how this company was named as ZOR Engineers. So Dan was now not ready because he's already busy into other stuff, but Dennis wants to be with him to start the company straight away. And Dennis said to him, if Abraham could leave his country at God's call by faith, then the Norrises could too. So that's how that's how the whole story of ZOR is pictured. And finally, ZOR's work starts by the design of a Christian hospital near to a coastal area called Shikarpur. So that's how ZOR started. But, his concept of the missionary work altogether changed through this venture. So then the story of ZOR starts, and, within the first 10 years, ZOR ends up doing a considerable amount of work all across the country. And, they're called up by all sorts of people, all the denominations. At the same time, Pakistani construction industry was evolving. So Dan and Dennis's knowledge, and with their access to the expats from other countries who were coming to Pakistan every now and then, so that really helped in shaping up the construction industry of Pakistan that we see now in its modern shape. So ZOR was the first construction company that brought a concrete batching plant to Pakistan. The other thing that is quite famous about ZOR is the waffle slab. So the waffle slab was introduced by ZOR for the first time in Pakistan in its construction works. And we still see, some older buildings around the country with that waffle slab, which was a precast slab developed on site by ZOR. So during this process, many Christian brothers and sisters, they got opportunity to work with ZOR in various capacities. ZOR continued to not only make its mark within the church fraternity, but at the same time within the commercial sector. So that allowed ZOR to enter into, you could say, the commercial space or the government space. So slowly ZOR started to get more tender work with the government departments, which led ZOR to its first court case between 1977 and 1978. So this is a kind of a key milestone in the company's journey. So these two cases started as, the basis of these cases was basically a challenge to ZOR's integrity. And, could ZOR stand the challenge of being a company of integrity or honesty? So there was a case where ZOR was asked to compromise the quality of construction based on, bribing and, taking that money out to bribe the officials, to which our directors clearly refused. And then there was a bit of strenuous relationship between, the both parties. And finally, that led this into the court of law. And as of today, these cases are still ongoing.
It's from 1977 on today, 2025.
Yeah.
My.
So close to, I am told by my legal officer that this is probably, the more than 50 judges have heard this case.
More than 15 or 50?
50.
Oh, goodness.
And still, I mean, there has not been a time where ZOR has changed its stance. ZOR still stands on the same principles of integrity, that whatever the case is, we are not going to be bribing anyone. We are not going to provide extraordinary, commissions to anyone by compromising the quality. So this is a great, I would say, example of a value that ZOR has stood on, or you could say the DNA that ZOR is built on. So our motto is basically building quality, building people, and building for God. So this motto basically strengthens what ZOR has stood for over these 5 decades.
So there's so many questions I want to ask you about this, but I do want to get to your story, your personal story, because it's pretty amazing what God has done. So in all of these cases and all of these opportunities, ZOR could have taken the easy route, could have compromised, absolutely refused to. Are the litigant, are the people, the witnesses watching this, are they seeing and understanding why? Do they understand that the company was started for Christ? And this is open knowledge to everybody that's watching, right?
Yeah. And in fact, the some of the witnesses that I was able to communicate with, they all stand on this value that the stance that was taken by our directors was not a wrongful stance. And despite a couple of times there was an opportunity to settle the cases by compromising the stance and
Uh,
just a handshake without any damage to anybody's character. But we refuse to do that. Our ex-directors, they refused to do that because it was always you know told that this is a stance based on a value of honesty and integrity. And wherever the cases are heard, we want these cases to be a witness to the Lord that ZOR was not never in the business of compromising those values.
so I know these cases are big cases that've been going on for a long time. They're clearly almost part of the history of the
Yeah.
company and how the culture is communicated. But I'm sure there are many other smaller times along the way when ZOR was faced with the same question and took the same stand. Even though it didn't go to court, it didn't get a lot of media attention. How do you, and I know again you're the fourth CEO, so how do you view this, and how has the culture, the beliefs, the commitments, whatever words we want to use, how have those things been reinforced and taught and strengthened for now? You're fourth generation. That most companies don't even survive the transition from founder to the next generation. Many cultures that when the company does survive, the culture doesn't survive. The company lives on, but the culture doesn't. In this case, the company is still thriving. The culture has been passed on. How did the leadership do that, Ameet?
One of the key value that I have seen when I joined ZOR has been the faithfulness of employees who have stood by the values of the company, although they had better opportunities everywhere. But many of them, they did not want to be part of a corrupt culture. They could have gone outside ZOR with other companies, but in terms of the construction industry, so there is a considerable amount of corruption factor involved to that. So one of the things that I see very directly or with a lot of clarity is the preference of the employees who have basically seen the leadership stand on those values,
Mhm.
reinforce these values on a daily basis. I mean, it's not in a one-off situation. You have to live those values on a daily basis. You cannot just think about a situation where you are not ready to compromise, but then as soon as you step into another situation, you just give in. ZOR has lost many bits because of being in such situation, but we have never compromised on our values. So I would I would credit the previous leadership on on sticking to those values very strictly. And I would say when we talk about BAM companies in general, or specifically about a certain BAM company, so the integration of those values into the whole DNA of the company, I think it's the key to companies' long-term survival.
Yes.
And I would say that you know how company has survived for all these years. So our founders, they left in somewhere around 2000, I would 7 or 8, and still you could say that for 17 years the company is still managing, surviving, and company has survived the COVID era also. So through those thick and thins, or I would say at times the valley of death even, we have learned to trust the Lord. And it's a holistic, I would say, it's a holistic transformation that has occurred. And when you see people from other faiths resonating the same values that come from, the faith-driven philosophy, that's when you realize that, these values are something that these people want to live with.
As I'm listening to what you're sharing, I think about, we have, even though people may not know Christ, there is written in their heart a certain sense of God's character, a certain sense of who God is and what he expects. And even unbelievers know what is right and wrong. They may not choose what is right or wrong, but they know. I mean, Paul says everybody has this in them. But seeing people as they're watching you, believers and unbelievers, because you told me in our conversation the other day, not everybody in the company is a believer. There are unbelievers who work there and see all this. How do they respond? I think they must embrace it because they stay, but do they connect it to Jesus Christ?
Well, since they have seen the company over the years and through various, I would say, engagements, it's a very clear. You could say that it's a very clear understanding for them that this all is coming from, the biblical core values. And at times we often say this, that, in a situation where a normal person would just go and try to win the contract. I mean, this is what we are here for, and this is the part of our job. But when you see, people behaving differently or wanting to behave differently, I mean, against the culture around us. So that's what exemplifies that, it's actually a value that has not been sown into them in just one day. And it's quite obvious because we have seen people, coming to us, telling us that, since you are following the Christ, so we understand that, this is something that is not going to work. Even to the point that there are some particular contracts where people would not, they would avoid coming to ZOR because they know that they cannot have these conversations openly with us.
Hi, this is Mike again, and I want to just chat with you briefly about a new course available on thirdpathinitiative.com. Very, very excited about this course. It's called How to Raise Capital for Your Business's Mission Company. It is probably the single most in-demand course we've ever created, and it comes in a direct response to conversations and surveys we've done among our existing students. What do you most need? This was overwhelmingly the course that people wanted the most. They wanted to hear about, what do you do? It's the great challenge. And so this course it's very short, it's very simple, but it walks you through how to understand the capital markets, what you need to understand and be prepared for before you begin to seek funding, how to put together a pitch, who to go to, and how to manage that funding after you get it. And so we've brought together a panel of experts from people in the financial field, from people in the business's mission field, from people in entrepreneurial field. Very, very excited. And it is available now. It is live on thirdpathinitiative.com/all-courses. Check it out. I hope you'll enjoy it. We really enjoyed making it.
As you're sharing this, I keep thinking of Daniel. And how many times, in Babylon and then later, in the kingdom of the Medes, Persians, he was faced with situations where they wanted to compromise. Sometimes it's just a little thing like don't pray in public. He goes up, opens his windows, does it publicly. There's a passage in chapter 6 of the book of Daniel that talks about Daniel was a man of excellent character and a man of excellent work. and that even his enemies realize the only way to confound him, to trap him, is going to be in regard, you got to get him to violate his faith, and even that he wouldn't do. And so as you're talking, I think that almost 60 years, the leadership of ZOR has held to that ethical, biblical foundation and belief system, and it's just to the point. This is what triggered it for me, to the point that people are saying, don't even bother talking to ZOR. They won't cheat. They won't bribe. So don't waste your time. What a beautiful testimony. I love that. So, all right. So let's talk about a little bit of your story, because you the way you put it to me the other day was that, so there's the story of ZOR, and it's moving along from 1968 to today, strong, prosperous. God is always faithful. And then there's your story, and how God brought your path and the ZOR path together. So pick it up from your story. Tell us your side of this and how you came to be now the fourth CEO in this history.
Well, so the place where I was born, it's a Christian hospital in a place called Taxila, which is approximately 37 kilometers away from Islamabad, which is the capital of Pakistan. So I was born and raised there, and even a big portion of that hospital was done by ZOR back in the day. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So, okay. So they're building the hospital you're born in. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So I was born in 1989 over there, and then raised and did my early education over there. So I have a degree in mechanical engineering, and I've done my master's in engineering management. So the place where I used to live, so on 9th of August 2002, that hospital was attacked by the terrorists, and the chapel was bombed. My mother also got injured in that. So as a child, I had a first-hand experience of what it means to be, in that situation where it feels like, the world is going to just crash down around you. So that was the year when actually a lot of things changed for us. So, after going through that situation, my parents, they gave their life to Christ at the end of 2002, and at the start of 2003, in April 2003, I gave my life to Christ. So my mother, she kept on praying, and she was, after her life changed, so she was really eager that, now my children should come to Christ. So that was the year when I got changed, holistically, I would say, and I had the actual experience of knowing God Himself. And since then, I mean, if I look back, it's all, I would say, God's direction and blessing, and He has taken me to places which I couldn't have imagined. So I still deep inside had faith that we pray to the Almighty, and why can't He arrange a job for me? So finally, there is a place in Gujranwala. It's a Christian Technical Training Center that was also set up by Presbyterian American missionaries. And, I got a call for an interview there, and I ended up there. So, that was the start of my, you could say, service to the Lord. So I ended up there as a young instructor, started in the mechanical department. So I slowly think about moving back to my hometown. So I have applied for a government job for an instructor in a similar government institutions near to my home. I used to meet a lot of different people from the industries, and the place, I mean, this place Gujranwala is quite an industrial city. So there is a lot of production going on, and you see a lot of industrialists over there. So one day, we had a student whose father was running a big LPG manufacturing industry. So he calls me to his office, and during that time span, Uber was launched in Pakistan, and so Uber was holding a business idea competition, which was probably like a very new of its kind idea in Pakistan. So he calls me to his office, and they had a very nice promo running on the television, and he just made me sit in his office, and he wanted me to watch that promo. So we viewed that promo, which was very motivational, and it talked about business opportunities in Pakistan, entrepreneurship, and the future of young entrepreneurs in Pakistan, the opportunities that the city of Gujranwala and few others would be exposed to. So when the video ends, he asks me a very significant, and I would say a very impacting question. So Ameet, where are your Christian people in all of this picture? Which actually just took me by surprise, and I could see everything around me like shaking. And that's the night when I came back, I sort of couldn't sleep very well. So I talked to my wife and I said, this guy, I mean, he's from another background and he's concerned about our people. And I'm amazed to see this. And he then explained to me a bit about, what the opportunities look like and how you can engage your students into businesses instead of just pushing them into jobs where they basically have a very limited career. So that got me really thinking, and since then I started to to explore opportunities where I could engage with people who are entrepreneurs. I started to look for some of our students who had graduated and they had started their own businesses. So it was then a new exploratory journey for me. So my, you could say that my focus was quite towards the business side. I was still not into, what BAM was, but one thing I had sense of was that Christians in Pakistan, they have to enter the business space. And this is the future that could lead us into a lot of prosperity, and that could mean that we can grow as a community. I sort of kept on trying to engage in with entrepreneurs, floating around ideas, and what I really wanted to do was to start a small incubator in that institution, because I could see that job market is getting saturated. So we have to find a way to to engage our students, and specifically Christian students into these business opportunities. So I got a couple of calls from ZOR's then management, because we had a apprenticeship program with ZOR, where our students from the civil and architecture department would come to ZOR for a 6 months apprenticeship. And somebody from their management, they reached out to me and floated this idea, like, how would you think about considering ZOR as your next stop? And I shared it with my wife, and that at that stage we were not prepared or ready to take that leap. So I said, okay, I'll think about it, but I'm not sure that, because I come from an academic background and I don't have a lot of business expertise that might be required at ZOR. And in particular, it's a construction company, so maybe you should look for a civil engineer, not a mechanical engineer. Or but as you've said, that God has His own plans, and often we try to lean on our own understanding, but we have to trust the Lord's plan. So after the COVID phase passed, then again, so my eagerness to explore the entrepreneurship space, business as mission space, faith-driven entrepreneurship, the thirst started to grow further. So finally, after prayer and and a lot of thinking, you know, I again got a call from ZOR, and this time I said, okay, I'll let's talk about it in detail. So then, I got interviewed by, one of the very famous guys in the BAM space, Craig Shugart. So Craig was the guy who interviewed me for coming to ZOR. So talking to him, slowly gave me this idea that, like, I'll be getting exposed to a lot of different people from the actual who are actually BAM practitioners and who have been in that space. And so the idea was to become a steward for the Lord, and then it's a different kind of opportunity. But again, with my increased interest into that, business as mission space, incubation, entrepreneurship, so that led me to come to ZOR exactly on January 1st, 2022. So when I came to ZOR, I had been part of an academic space. Now I am here with a business organization. So there are few projects that the company is struggling with. I am new to this job, and within a span of 1 month, I realized probably this is the worst choice of life. Wait. So I had heard the terms blood, sweat, and tears, and that all started to become very real by the end of first month. So one fine day, around, you could say, February 2022, I'm sitting in my office, and I'm just wondering, like, what triggered this decision to come at ZOR. I mean, it's struggling, but at the same time, that really pushed me to just sit and pray, and open my heart to the Lord. And the words that were exactly that I prayed with in that particular time were that, the Lord, if you want this company to grow, just help me. And if you don't, I will not complain, because your will be done in either case. That were the exact words that I used. And since then, I mean, we have seen a great deal of redemption happen. And my personal journey in getting to know, what the blood, sweat, and tears in the BAM space mean. I have grown as a BAM practitioner now. I have been in those moments where, you are struggling with clients, and, by the very next day, you don't know how you're going to feed your staff. And in all those situations, the only thing that you can do is just trust the Lord and lean not on your own understanding. So to make that mindset shift from that academic background to the business background, it was quite the challenge for me. But God gave me this opportunity through ZOR to learn and to become, a key part of ZOR's journey now. So during this time space, I was introduced to the quadruple bottom line impact, and we are now trying very, very hard to keep the company strictly on those values as the company moves forward. So some of the key projects that we have been into is, so ZOR did its first real estate development project in 2023 through a fund that we secured from an investor in US. So by the name of Cornerstone Housing Project, and that's ZOR stepping into new diverse sectors. The other key journey portion of ZOR during these years has been ZOR's commitment to fight the slaved bonded labor in the country. So Pakistan is one of those countries where slavery is a huge issue even today. we have close to 20,000 brick kilns in the country. And those brick kilns are, money minting machines for people who are using different families as slave laborers for generations. So in this journey, we have come to the conclusion that, many different people have used different approaches, different NGOs, Christian ministries. They've all tried their best to address these issues. But through, my networking or exposure with the BAM space, and looking at different freedom businesses, their business models. So one thing that now I am very strongly convinced is that the only thing that can make a transformation or a turnaround happen for these slave bonded laborers is unless and until there is a business transformation happening or the business model transformation happening in this industry. So the brick that is used is sold at a price of 15 rupees per brick. And that price has not varied in the last 5 years. I mean, it stays between 12 to 15. All other, construction materials have seen a spike of, close to 200% in different commodities. So we are figuring out through this, we are engaged currently in a market study through which we want to figure out how we can optimize a product that can compete with this fired brick. So we have, we have been exposed to a technology of making non-fired bricks that we are going to be testing. But the key to that is cost competitiveness. So if we put our heads together and we end up finding a way to optimize the price or the cost of that brick, and we can beat the fired brick right at its roots of the pricing model, that will be a game changer for this industry. But that can only happen if this is taken up as a business venture. We cannot, just make it another project of compassion only. So my learning so far, or getting engaged with, the BAM summits, different people from within the BAM space around the world, talking to them. Mark Stunag was with us recently in Pakistan. So I shared this whole thing in front of him, and then I asked him, like, what do you think? And he said, ZOR is on the right track, and this issue can only be addressed unless and until. And so in my humble opinion, like I say that ZOR is a story of 57 years of faith, integrity, and marketplace stewardship for such a time as this.
Yeah.
So what I feel very strongly in my heart, that this particular issue that we have now taken up, this issue of addressing the slave labor issue within the brick industry, probably the Lord has kept ZOR for such a time as this.
Yeah.
We are very eagerly involved in this market study. We are, trying to set up a network of players who want to address this issue. And maybe next time when we speak, I may have some initial, findings or initial things to share about this market study with you.
I'm pretty confident that you will. The next time we talk, you will have things to share that God has done. I mean, just as I listen to the story, the history of ZOR and your own history, your own story, just watching God orchestrate, the creation of a company, the endurance of a company, the integrity of a company, the raising up of the founders, the next CEO, and you. It really, this word keeps coming to mind about just faithfulness. That God, it's not our faithfulness, right? It's God's faithfulness, and you guys have been faithful. You will continue to be faithful, but God is the one who is faithful. And when we spoke the other day, even throughout this conversations for the podcast, you keep bringing up pieces of Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And I shared with you last time that that's one of the first verses I ever memorized as a believer is trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight. He will direct your paths, depending on the translation. That to me is really the summary of everything we've talked about. You guys, not just you, but the whole tree of men and women and your mother and all these players that God has brought together are leaning on him, trusting in him, and he is keeping his promise. He is making that path clear. And that's why I say I'm absolutely confident that when that we talk next, you will be telling me about what God is doing. And I want to affirm, Ameet and I are really good friends. In fact, that's of course who introduced you and me. I want to infer what he told you. God is in what you're doing. Business's mission is not only about freedom. It's not only about human slavery, but that's right in your face. And you have to go into it. You cannot ignore it. You have to go into it, and he will show you what the answer is. And I just appreciate that you and your team are willing to go into that. That's a dangerous place to go into. There'll be lots of human resistance, but there'll be also satanic resistance to trying to bring liberty to these captives. But that's part of the gospel. And that's what Jesus said. So, I've come to declare the favorable year of the Lord. And part of that favorable year of the Lord is freedom for the captives. So I was, the last time you and I spoke, I came away really encouraged. Today, I'm even more encouraged. And I am looking forward to hearing more, but I'm also looking, I don't know how God will do this, but to being with you in person, being able to sit in the same room and just, break bread together and just encourage each other. Just as God's hand is on you. I know that you know that it's not because of who you are. It's because of who he is. And that to me is really the secret. All right. So do you have any last word of encouragement or challenge to our audience? That people listen all over the world. Some are BAM practitioners, some are exploring the idea of business as mission, as you were a while ago. Others are trying to find ways to support BAM. What word of challenge or encouragement would you leave them with?
Well, the first thing that I would like to say is that wherever the Lord has kept you, he has kept you there to bless you. So you need to trust his words. Often, we all are faced with situations. It took me, a year and a half to realize that ZOR is my next calling. So I've almost, there were days when I felt like, it's all just a bad decision. But slowly through those times, and I think that this was a season for us as a family we call it a season of grind. So in Pakistan is very famous for cricket. So in cricket, there are two different formats. One is a test match, and then there is a 1 day or a T20. So test matches for 5 days, which is all about grinding down and just perseverance and patience. So then we started to feel that, the Lord has brought us here for a test match. So in whatever season you are right now, I really want to encourage you that look at, and read Proverbs 3, 5, 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart. And whatever situation, even if we are passing through the valley of death, we have to trust the Lord. The other thing is, since different BAM practitioners might be listening, in countries like Pakistan, we still are a developing, you could say, economy. We are a developing country in many ways. So, we really need people with a great deal of maturity to come and help us out, to support us, facilitate us, navigate situations, because there is a developing BAM ecosystem in Pakistan, and it's in very, very early days. And I think we would be very encouraged if there are people who can stand with us in prayer, who can come and join hands with us to see this great place. Pakistan is called the land of pure, so it's going to be a great blessing if other friends can join hands with us and be of support to us in any way that is possible.
Fast. What a great way to close this conversation. Maybe open the next one. But it's I love what you said. I love what you guys are doing. I love the story, but also getting to know you, just my brother. And so I'm so thankful, even though we're just doing this online and we're not in the same room. God willing, we will be. I want to encourage our listeners to take what you said to heart. What Ameet shared. Not just the story of ZOR Engineers, not just the story of his own journey, seeing this as a journey that God has ordained, and being willing, wherever you may be, being willing to listen to what he has to say to you and do what he puts in front of you, even when you don't, like Ameet said, even when you don't think you're the right person, even when you don't think this is good, that you're not good enough for it, look at what God is doing. And it's such a story of encouragement. Ameet, thank you so much for being with us. We will, as I say to many of my guests, for you, I'll say it again and again, we will talk more. This story is this is not near to the end of it. This is just maybe, as one great statesman once said, it's not the end of the beginning, but maybe it's the beginning of the end. So or maybe the other way around. But anyway, we're just getting started. 50 years into it, almost 60 years into it for ZOR, but it's just getting started. And I love this story. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Mike, for the opportunity. And I pray that you have many more guests on this podcast and people get to hear these stories out. And, we've been finding ways to push this story out to the world. And particularly like our founder, I mean, he's still in UK, and one of the co-founders, Dan, who wrote the book. So we are really trying to have the story narrated by him through some podcast or something. So maybe one fine day we together might be sitting in the room with
that would be beautiful. I would love that. That would be fantastic. Be great. So, brother, thanks for being on with us, and I know that our audience has been blessed by you.
Thank you. God bless.